Hi everyone, welcome to the SpookyCast, a podcast where we take a deep dive into the horror stories of Reddit and discuss the things that truly go bump in the night. My name is Trey, and I will be your spooky guide tonight, and I am joined today by my co-hosts, Connor and David. Tonight's story will be narrated by David.
Hey guys, so David here. Today we'll be looking at a story from one of the spookier sides of Reddit. It's actually under the Paranormal section, and the user is Velvet Petal 70335. So let's get started with it. This one's called "A House Built on an Old Coal Mine," and this has to do with the site of an apparition. So, this is actually the post. This is my first ever post here. I've read so many of these, and I think it's time to add my own. My house, where I've always lived and still do, is built on the site of an old, deep pit. In 1874, that pit collapsed and killed 100 boys and men. So my house is around 100 years old, I think. It sounds a little bit more than that, since it was just recently posted. Anyway, weird things happen here, and not just family who have noticed it. The sighting started when my sister was young, around 9 or 10-ish. She was woken by the feeling of being stared at. When she opened her eyes, she was greeted by the clear face of an old woman. As you can imagine, she jumped out of bed and cried at my mom's door. I heard both accounts of this story, and she still swears by it to this day. When she was older, I want to say around late teens, early 20s, she was in the kitchen with her then boyfriend cooking food. A white apparition swiftly shot past them as if it was walking down the hallway. Both her and her boyfriend looked at each other in disbelief and asked each other, "Did you see that?" My sister isn't my only sibling. I'm the youngest of 3. I also have a brother who is slightly younger than my sister. They used to have the house full of people drinking and partying on weekends. This is where it gets interesting. On several occasions, friends would ask, "Who's the old woman?" Or say things like, "I swear I saw an old woman." One occasion in particular was a close family friend of ours who randomly mentioned one day that he sat in our living room during one of the parties and saw the said old woman sat at the end of our old corner sofa. At the time, he was drunk, confused, and probably a bit scared, so didn't really act on it, however mentioned it a couple days later during a conversation. Now this is where I come into it. When I was a kid, I had one of those old TVs that give off a fishbowl vibe. I woke in the middle of the night randomly, but what I saw wasn't an old woman. I opened my eyes, and in front of me was my fishbowl-like TV, and the reflection was a girl. Can I just make it clear, the girl was not me. She sat upright staring at me. I was laying down in bed. We still have weird things happen around the house, but it's only me and my mom here now. But things like the echo, I'll say that for any of you listening on speakers, randomly playing the radio at 3 a.m. on several occasions, things going missing, random bangs, and cold drafts and light bulbs dying very quickly. I often feel someone watching me when I'm in bed, but I convince myself it's paranoia just to ignore it. There is sometimes a bad smell that cannot be explained around the house. When my mom first moved in 30 years ago, the neighbor asked her if she could smell it. We have no idea what it is. It might be worth mentioning that my mom had a clairvoyant tell her one of her daughters would be gifted many years ago. Could be why she saw it the most. The end. So, are you guys a fan of houses being built on ancient graves?
That's a very interesting story. The fact that, like, they're clairvoyant or whatever, or, like, who they consulted was clairvoyant. And it was like, oh, you're gonna have a daughter soon. That's a little weird.
Yeah, that's
It's a kind of a weird thing to throw in there, I guess. But like as for like hauntings and stuff, it doesn't sound like the spirit was malicious in any way. So I guess that's good.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like it wanted to have a little bit of fun, but also because I mean, if any of us in the world have ever seen horror movies, we know that one thing they mention a lot is a foul stench, which is usually accompanied by these spirits, apparitions, and usually a cold breeze, because cold signifies, a body lacking heat or spirit lacking heat. So, I mean, I believe that there's something there, but, without seeing it firsthand, or I don't know how legitimate some ghost hunters are, but seeing this maybe.
What is everybody's stance here on the paranormal? Do you guys believe in it, or like what's the deal?
Go ahead, Connor.
I was just gonna say, do I believe in it? Not particularly. I think it would be cool to find definitive proof of paranormal activity. And I always find watching paranormal activity videos on YouTube or compilations to be very entertaining. I like horror and I like being scared. But do I particularly believe in it? Not really.
Okay, David.
Yeah, I'm probably in the same boat as Connor. Like, I'm one of those people that has to see it to believe it. And I'm very skeptical of I just saw something out in the garage, whatever. If it's at night and it's at someone's house in the garage, no, that's alien movie and horror movie 101. You don't go out to the garage at night. You just don't do it.
Right, yeah, just don't do it.
So, but the fact that, I don't know anyone who has actually seen this kind of stuff happen or heard of it happening. That way I can actually, experience this myself. But I believe there is some possibilities out there of things happening, like maybe a spirit that hasn't been able to move on, or maybe an actual house built on like an ancient graveyard or something like that. But I don't know. It's I'm inclined to believe like the story that the Warrens have had these last few decades of their stories, that they're being turned into movies. But I'm also wondering how much of it's fluffed up for cinema.
Yeah.
So, I'm reserved in saying yes, I believe it, but I believe that there is probably some things that can be explained and some things that can't be explained.
Well, you try.
Okay, it's a little weird. Like, I don't necessarily believe in the afterlife. I don't think there's a heaven. I don't think that there is a hell.
Well, you're going to hell.
However, I have not personally had any experience that I would call paranormal, but I do know people who have. And when they tell stories, they 100% believe in it, and they believe that they saw it happen. So, do I think that it's possible for things that we don't understand to be happening, and so we just classify it as paranormal or like ghostly? Sure. The source of that, I cannot say what it is. As far as horror content goes, on the internet or in movies and Hollywood and so on, as you guys know, like I'm a huge fan. Like I love it. I love that anxiety, that feeling of dread, that like fight or flight sort of thing. Mm-hmm. However, like there's a Ouija board hanging up in the room, not by my choice, obviously, but
Wait, hold on. You've got a Ouija board hanging up in your room.
Yeah, there is one in the room, and
never coming over.
As interesting as it sounds to like mess with it, I'm still in the mindset of I'm not gonna fuck around and find out.
The fact that you say the word "you're interested," no.
I didn't say I'm interested. I said I find it interesting. It separates.
Okay,
those two
same
things.
same word, different tense.
All right, let me explain a little deeper. I'm all for people exploring the spooky realm. If they want to go fuck around and like try to summon a spirit, good for you. Be safe. Do it the right way, I guess. But I'm not personally gonna do it. And I'm not personally gonna be in the room when someone does it.
I have a question. What's the right way?
I don't know. I'm sure you can find it on Reddit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for us tonight. Once again, if you guys have any stories you'd like to submit to us, you can do so via our email. It's going to be the letter S, the letter C, spookycast@gmail.com. We will leave that in the description below. Also, we have merch. So if you guys are interested in snagging some SpookyCast merch, it is limited edition right now. We're just running it through, I guess, September, October for a limited time. But yeah, go cop yourself some SpookyCast merch. You can also get some other Super Clash merch on there too. We've got the other podcast graphic on there. You got hoodies, tank tops, t-shirts, hats, anything you could think of. But we hope you have a safe and spooky night, and we will catch you guys on the next one.